attention to requests for information, requests for training. There's just going to be a lot of deadlines that need to be paid attention to this year. So watch those emails. If you see that something needs to be done, do it right away. Don't put it at the bottom of your to-do list. And I think that will make the year a lot more enjoyable for our sponsors. We hope to have them cheering us on at the end of the year, and they're still willing to do this for future years. The next, after we hear from Ms. Latimer and Mr. Palmer, they're going to go over some of the calendar things, and then Yolanda McKinney and Rita Bukovac from the counseling department are here. I know that all class meeting with Balfour is October 21st. And other than that, really it's just paying attention to the dues. Initially during Bike Visit Day and up until curriculum night, the dues were at a discounted rate with the yearbook also being discounted for $133. Since then they've been separated and they've both gone up. So the dues are now $83 and the yearbook I believe is $65. And if they haven't purchased those yet, they can pay us for the dues and they can pay Ms. Floyd in the lit department for the yearbook.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is being done for the prepaid, for people who pay separately for a yearbook and the dues, and the yearbook is supposed to be included?
So Viking Visit Day, was it Viking Visit Day you paid online and paid twice
Yeah.
for it? We're still sifting through the Viking Visit Day funds. Like everything's been deposited into an account but not our account. And we will take care of it as soon as it gets deposited into our account. But it's a whole, because Lakeside has done that differently than the rest of the county, it's a whole big process. And our bookkeeper can't be the person that sorts through it for some reason. They have to send someone from the county to sort through it. It's up on the to-do list, and as soon as we can get someone out here to go through it, but it's all of those funds have to be sorted through, and as soon as they do it, we'll get it refunded.
lay my papers on. No, out so I can, just lay this on. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. Well, yes, this is your kids' senior year. Most of you, if you've been here over the past 4 years, or 3 years and a couple of months now, you've met with your counselors before, so you do know who your counselors are. We've had an addition. Ms. Bukabaz is taking over the first part of the alphabet. If you go online to Lakeside High School, you will see the breakdown that we have of what counselor has, what student by the last name. So you can certainly see who you're supposed to be with if, in fact, you've forgotten who that person is that is your counselor. We are here to help you get through this very tedious year. What we have put together is we are now starting our senior conferences. We have started as of was it that just last week we started? Last week we started seeing students. We are doing it in different, we're not synchronizing when we're doing it. We're looking at our calendars and putting in for students to come in. I have scheduled mine through September. I still have October to get into with ones left over. But any of my students that you might have, should have, I've gotten through, I think I'm midway through the G's as far as sending out the sheets for the appointment time. Your students should be coming home with a purple sheet. It has on it their date that they are scheduled to meet with their counselor. It has the day, the time, everything. Please keep asking them if they've received it, since, like I said, we're doing it at different stages. They should know, and we really want you to be there. It's really important that you hear the same information that we're giving to them as far as what to do next. We have already started receiving through common application requests for transcripts, for recommendations, all of that stuff. Just today, I have one for a kid who's applying to Georgetown. I have received them for UGA, all of that. So the kids need to start getting this done. If, in fact, they're looking at an early admissions application, then they need to look at the due dates. It's very important that they look at the due dates, that these applications are needed, the due dates for scholarship. Now, and many schools have a different day that the applications for scholarships need to be in as opposed to the application for admittance. So you all need to look at all of that to see when things need to be done. I asked my kids to get a flow chart that shows where they're applying, days that things are due, and a little bit about each school that they're applying to, so that when they get all of their acceptances in, they can look back and say, okay, this is what I liked about this school. This is what I liked. Oh, okay, these people are giving me this much money over here, which also is a big part of everything. But if you go to the website, as I said, we have a packet for our seniors. It's quite extensive. The first page just says who we are, who the counselors are for your children, and it says, okay, you finally have arrived, you're a senior now, you need to be aware of due dates and everything. We have a sheet that, just about 2 pages, that talks about when applications are due and how you get transcripts sent. We have information that has come in for kids who are applying through Common App. We are sending the applications online, as well as Ms. Casey, who is the secretary who's been here for 20,000 years. She wants you all to send in your envelopes with the 3 stamps addressed to the schools that you want. And remember, you put your student's name on the inside flap of that envelope, because she has had so many times where things have been lost, even electronically, because we're dealing with so many different schools and everything. So that's what she would like. UGA says is it UGA? Yeah. UGA said, we just looked at theirs, I just looked at theirs the other day, and they're saying very clearly they want only the electronic being sent to them. So, and I haven't even had a chance to tell Ms. Casey, that's what they said. I think I looked this morning on their website. But here again, for every other school, please make sure that envelopes come in stamped, addressed, with the names on the inside flap. Our return address goes in the return address portion, so you don't have to put anything there. Let's see, recommendations.
Before we do transcripts, about how long is that taking to turn around?
Ms. Casey turns it around in a day's time. She's excellent, honestly. If you have any questions about transcripts, please ask her. I mean, she can answer you instead of trying to wait for us to get to you or get back to you and all this stuff. If you have transcript, anything like that, she'll give you your answer. Yes, sir.
So you're saying that you want to mail the envelopes along with the electronic copy?
Along, Ms. Casey wants, along with the electronic common applications. Most of the schools are common. There are other schools that we have that don't use the common app, and so therefore they will have a process. You need to look to see how what they're requiring as far as the application process, how they want it sent. But if it's common app, Ms. Casey said she wants the envelope.
Do the transcripts have the school seal on them? One school we're applying to requires a school seal.
We do.
Okay.
We do. Okay. And there's the transcript that you all can pick up yourselves, okay, or the students can get is an unofficial transcript. It doesn't have any seal, doesn't have any signatures or anything on it. The official transcript is a whole different ballgame. And that's why we do not give, for you all to hear again, we do not give official transcripts to parents. We send them directly to where you want them to go. They either go, we're talking about scholarships, anything that you have that is requiring an official transcript, besides just the colleges, goes directly from us to them, okay? We also have on this information that's in the, on the website, that students, if they need recommendations, they need to give us 3 weeks to get that done, because at the same time we're doing recommendations, we are seeing our seniors, and we're taking time with that, plus we're trying to still do all the rest of the kids that we have. So I mean, we are inundated with demands being put on us, so we need you to make sure your kids are giving us enough time to get things done. So that's why we're asking you give us 3 weeks notice for recommendations. And I like that, the kids that I already have stuff that has come in. It's great because I can do that now before I really get into everything. So it's very, very effective for us, for you to do it as quickly as possible and as soon as possible. If in fact, just before you do that, another thing about transcripts, if in fact your children are planning on playing any sport on the college level that is a team sanctioned sport, I mean, we're talking about the, Division A, Division 1, Division 1As and all that, if they need a transcript, we have to send it to the NCAA. So if they're going to be playing soccer, if they're going to be playing basketball, if they're going to be wrestling, whatever they're planning on doing on the college level, we need to get that information in. Now, what we do is that we send it in now, and at the end of the school year, Ms. Casey sends out a list to each student asking where they want their final transcripts to be sent. They need to put the NCAA along with the college that they have finally decided to go to. Okay, and that's going to be, but that's something that happens in May, and Ms. Casey takes care of all of that. All right? Also, in the information that we have online, we have a sheet that's called College Recommendation Sheet, and it gives the students something to go on as to what we need to know in order to do their recommendations. So please, if you would, go look on there for that. I'm sorry, you had a question.
You're referring to something online. I guess I'm trying to figure out where to see that information, because I see on the Lakeside High School
Okay, if you go to Lakeside High School and go to counseling, and they have then on counseling, they have each grade level has some requirements that we're asking of your students. Okay? And that's where you're going to find that information. We are asking the students, in addition to doing that college recommendation sheet, to make sure that they give us a resume of the things that they have done. This gives us something to go on when we're writing recommendations for them. Mhm. Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Is there any way to get a hold of Dr. Benner since he's left? Because just the order of when my daughter might even get in with the new counselor who doesn't know her at all, and so she can't even ask for a recommendation.
Well, that's another reason why, and to speak for you for a minute, that's the one reason why we ask the students to do that recommendation sheet, as well as to provide the resume, because I have students who are new to me that are coming from other schools in our county as well as outside of the county. And that's what gives me something to write, and the same thing with Ms. Bugavash. It will give her that idea of how to write a recommendation for your child, even though she has not had them. Is that okay?
Thanks.
All right. Hope Scholarship information is also online. The Cap County does not give a Hope GPA. The Hope GPA only looks at English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language. If you go online, you can see they have a calculator there where you can put in the grades, and they'll give you surmise what the GPA would be right now. That has, it's not going to be final until they finish every class and are graduated from high school, okay? But that information is there. We don't give out information about the Hope other than where you can find this information, okay? Because it's constantly changing. They're adding things, they're taking them out. So it's best that you look, and if you go to Georgia College 411, this most updated information will be there for you. But we have put this in that senior packet that you can look at online, so you can have all that information there. We will have someone from the Hope Scholarship to come in to do, every year, they come in and do a financial aid workshop for us, and it'll be sometimes towards the end of October that they will be coming in to us. Please look at your newsletter. We always publish it there. Plus, when we do find out, we make sure that the students have this information. So please, we will have plenty of time to let you know ahead of time when that financial aid workshop, it is fantastic. The people that come in from Georgia State and from the Finance Commission can take care of everything. And those of you who had seniors already, they're very thorough.
So that's not just Hope, that'll be financial aid.
That'll be financial aid and the whole thing. They do the Hope, and they talk about what schools are looking for and what kinds of monies they have outside of that. Yes, ma'am. Any questions?
Is that morning or evening?
It's evening. It's an evening meeting that we have. Generally, it's been 6:30. I can't remember the timing on that. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So for the early decision schools that are typically October 15th, if we get the request for the counselor recommendation in this week, you'll meet the deadline?
We will meet the deadline. And honestly, we meet the deadlines even if they don't, but we would like them not to do that to us, because then we get a little crazy, and I'm already old, and the rest of them, they don't need to go crazy. So, all right? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
If our students have approached a teacher to write a recommendation, does that still get routed back through your office?
It can. A lot of the teachers do send their recommendations down to us, or come down and get an envelope from us if the students, we usually say to the students to provide your teachers with an envelope addressed to where you want it to go. They only need one stamp on it, and the teachers can mail it out directly. A lot of the schools are asking for you to put the name of your teacher recommendations online, and they in turn send a electronic recommendation to them. and they can fill it out that way. So here again, you've got to look to see what they're asking for your students to do, okay?
You need to track that then back through your office.
Not really. As far as teacher recommendations, like our kids for national merit and national, all of those, yeah, that comes to us because we have to compile all of that information together and send it in all at one time. But for teacher recommendations, generally, the teachers can take care of that on their own, okay? When you look at UGA, when I look at UGA, it has transcript, recommendation, teacher recommendation, counselor recommendation, and as those things come in, they put a check in.
So can you start submitting things like recommendations before you've actually submitted the application?
Yes.
So we should have
Generally,
all-
generally, if the student has not finished their application or put our name as, they could go on and put our name as the counselor for the recommendation, we will get something that has that student's name on it, okay?
Even if what you're talking about, Georgia 411 or Common App?
And Georgia College 411, there's a form that Miss Casey has, and she's updated her form. So what's in the newsletter, I hope she's changed it, but I'll check with her tomorrow on that, because she wanted it done a little bit different than what we had been doing, so that we make sure that we get 411 stuff out too. But even with 411, she wanted the letters, the paper trail.
But we don't have to have actually submitted the app to get the recommendation.
I do not believe so. I can't, it can't be, I've got a lot of kids on my list for UGA already. Now, they may have all finished theirs, but I don't think so.
UGA, you have to submit the application before you can do it.
Thank you. Okay, then all those kids that are mine on that, see, but they heard me then, when I said give it to me early.
What did she say?
She said that the UGA application has to be submitted, finished, before then they will give it to, open it up for the counselors to do. So I just happen to have a lot of kids that are on the ball. Okay?
The Common App was the way you're describing information app.
Right, right. Anybody else, questions? Yes, ma'am?
Or just because I just signed up with the Georgia College 411. The question of social security numbers.
Social security numbers are very important.
We try to protect them.
Yes, you do.
I've looked at one application through that, and I was able to put it in manually without having it be on Georgia 411. But somebody told me who went through it last year, put it there,
You
it
have
runs
to.
a lot of stuff.
You
together.
have to. The reason that you have to do that is because Georgia Finance looks only, for the Hope Scholarship, looks only at people who have a social security number and who have graduated. First and foremost, if you have no social security number, and they are going to get that through 411, that's what they open up their things through. So if you don't put a social security number, your child is not going to get the Hope Scholarship. And that, I mean, it's a way of tracking your kids. Unfortunately, yes, we worry. I worry about that same thing. But we have to, if we really want our kids to be in line with getting all the possible things that could come their way. Okay, anybody else?
I would add from past experience, I had it as a fluke, it probably never happened to anyone else. But if you haven't, my recommendation as a parent, this guy kid in college, if you have not gone on that 411 site yet, do it quickly. And the reason that, this is what happened to me, we did it well enough in advance.
Okay.
My memory was, my son's student ID through the DeKalb system, there was somehow
glitch in it?
a glitch. And they weren't matching, they couldn't find him in Lakeside, DeKalb. And there was no other person with his name in a different county. And eventually it worked itself out, but I had between Lakeside, DeKalb, and I think
And-
411, got it fixed. But having said that, if you've got a deadline the next day and you're frantic, your kid's frantic trying to get this common app in, it could create a lot of stress.
Okay, there you go. And that's, and it's good to talk to people, and those of you who've already been through it, need to share. I'm all for you all sharing with parents who are new to this, what you've experienced already. So, please, anybody else have anything that they want to add to this whirlwind of trying to apply? Yes, ma'am.
Make sure your child's social security number is correct for the school.
Yes.
You get the same thing with my other child, and I was trying to do this little thing to protect his social security number, and, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and if you want a lot of headaches, don't follow my advice.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the things, if you all remember, in middle school or elementary school, you had a form that said, I do not want my child's social security number to be put on file. And all of you all signed that. I don't, you know, you started very early being concerned about social security numbers. And then, of course, when they get to us, we're saying, and I check with my kids as they come in for their conference, and many of you know, I've already checked with you all over the years to make sure I have a social security number on file. And of course, because I forget what I'm doing, I go back and check it again every time you all come in. So it's really an important item to have. Any more questions? Why, thank you so much for letting us talk to you tonight. Your counselors, as I said, will be getting out the senior conference dates to you all. Please make sure you ask your students, and please come with them. It makes it so much easier when we can all talk at one time together, as opposed to you calling and they. And then, as I had this morning, if we remember, a student that came in and said she actually told her parent something, and the parent, she said, but you don't ever listen to me. So, you know what I mean? It's one of those things back and forth where if we all do it at the same time, then we're on the same song sheet, so to speak. Okay? Anything?
I'm sorry, I do have one question. So, it's about college visits.
Okay.
We had the college fair,
Mm-hmm.
and then are we expecting college visits here as far as like individual colleges?
We are not doing that anymore because what we found is that the students were having a rough time. We usually had them come in during the lunchtime, and because lunch is only 25 minutes, they didn't have time to eat and see somebody, and so it was all rush, and nobody was really happy with how we were doing that. So that's why we don't have the lunchtime visits anymore. And we're so packed in here, that's another thing. You know, at lunchtime, we're packed. And so the spacing and everything was crazy to have that. So if you wanted to have a college visit and all of that, you certainly can. They have lots of Saturday times and afternoon or, you know, times that may work with you and your children's schedule. Yes, ma'am.
If you get the weekly update, you can also get the Lakeside Counseling update, and there was a notice about approved college fair, which is at Tucker, September 28th, so.
Except it doesn't list what colleges are going to
If
be.
you click on it, it does. You can find it, you go to the pro website.
Well, I did go to the pro website, and I couldn't find a list of colleges.
I found it, but I have it.
Well, maybe you could tell her how to do that. Okay? You all connect before you leave, and you tell her how to do it. Yes, ma'am.
How many absences will we allow for
That's a
college
very good
visits?
question. I don't know. I don't know that. We can certainly ask that question so that then the senior advisors and the senior parents can get that in their email. How about that? Okay, so they're going to ask.
I know that they said no, but then they also said, well, maybe, so it would be nice to have a real answer.
Okay, they're going to find out for you and then put it in their announcements. Yes.
I just wanted to share with the question before that,
Uh-huh.
that if you're interested in a particular college, they have a recruiter / representative for this area, and if you contact that person, they will meet with this child individually.
Yes, if they can. But here again, remember the ones that,
Couldn't hear what she
that
said.
she said that there is for every school, there is a recruiter who's assigned either a number of schools or an area. And she was saying that you can contact them and they'll meet individually with the students. That's good if they can, but I'll be real honest with you. They normally have many more than just Lakeside High School. And so they do have quite a few meetings that they have in the evening where numbers of students can come. They do schedule those kinds of things. So you can certainly give a call to the college that you're talking about, and they will tell you who the recruiters are for our area. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Just out of curiosity, why do they
have no idea on that one either. I can give you GPAs for my kids, and Ms. Bugabaj can give you for her kids. I don't know why they don't put them on the
Because
report
it's
card.
not an infinite campus.
Yeah,
that's
it's
why.
That's good, I'm glad you all know that. She said it's not something on Infinite Campus. I don't know, I've never asked, because I have GPA. Yes, ma'am.
As far as SAT and ACT scores go, is that something that the school sends also? Do
No,
send
we
them
don't.
directly
The
from-
SAT and ACT students, and this is another thing, some students are not understanding that they have to go online and apply directly to ACT or SAT, and that's all they have to put in is ACT or SAT. And it comes up and it says registration and everything. But you all have to do that yourselves. You pick out the day you want to take it, you pick out the place you want to take the test and everything.
I meant the scores.
The scores are sent directly from SAT or ACT to the colleges that you choose. We do not send those out.
It's through the Georgia
Yeah,
411.
I have 3 in college and 2 going, so what happens is when they take the test, when you sign up, you can send it up to 3 schools for free.
4, I think.
Okay, 4 for free, but if you do it afterwards, it is $12 per school for the ACT, and it's $11.50 for, actually, I just had to do that, it's only 3. It's $11.50 for, send all your scores to a school.
It's per test. So if you send 2 ACT scores, you have to pay for both of them.
It's per test for the ACT, but all tests are $11.50 each.
All tests
are
that have been
$11.50 for each
taken,
school.
all tests that have been taken for the SAT go on one sheet. But the ACT will only send the test that you want. So if your student takes 2, 3, 4 times and has improved up until the 3rd time, and the 4th time they take that test and they have not improved but they've gone down, you can ask only for that 3rd test to be sent. So that's something that it is up to you all to do. But those tests are sent directly from the testing company to the school of your choice. Yes,
But you only have to send the one you want to send, right? Like if
for the ACT.
It's right, no, but like say you take the SAT and the ACT.
Oh, yes, you only have to
ACT 's
take,
better.
yes.
Send the ACT and forget the
Exactly.
SAT, right?
And I ask my students to take both tests. Of course, I have parents that come in who tell me their children are only going to take the SAT or the ACT. That's strictly up to you all, how you want to do it. I think that it's best to take both, see which one you do the best in, and then that's the one you concentrate on the next time you have to take the test. But that's up to you all. Yes, ma'am.
I would just advise, know whether the schools that your child's applying to super scores, because that will determine how many you send. So don't just send the best overall score, no, it's super scores. What'd you say?
Sorry, we can hear her.
Okay, stand up and tell them that again.
Okay.
Up, up, up.
But this only applies to the SAT.
If the school that you're applying to super scores, everybody know what that means? So that means that if on one section you score better on one test and then you take it 3 months later and you score better on the
Another.
verbal part, math part one time, verbal part the other, and the school's super scores, they will take your best score from whichever test you took and combine them. That's super scoring. So if you're gonna pay to have extra tests sent, know which ones you're sending. And the way you know is to know whether or not the college will super score. Because it's not always just the best one the child did. Also know whether or not subject tests are required, because that's another component. And that's a separate, reservation, I guess, on the, SAT side.
All right.
I was gonna say one other thought, is multiple times for some kids, even if they do similar the first couple times, yes, it's another $50, but if they do that much better and you're applying for scholarships, it might be worth a whole lot of money.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
maybe try for that 3rd time on a test, depending on the child, but.
Okay. All right, you can save all the rest of your questions for your individual counselors, please. And we're very thankful that you're here tonight and can't wait to see you all when you come in with your students for your individual counseling sessions.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One last thing, there's lots of t-shirts left, they're $5 each, and love to have a closet space back in our house, so